Hello, this is Muhammad Yunus Ali from edgepro.info and welcome back again to this fifth tutorial in AutoCAD 2014 step by step for complete beginners. In this tutorial, we are going to look at drawing 8 tools in status bar. Below the command window is the status bar. The status bar gives you the information at a glance about the state of the drawing. For example, the coordinate readout here. This is x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Notice when I am moving the cursor, those readings are changing. The tools in the status bar offer aids to the drafting process. You can toggle any tool on or off anytime in your drawing. You can set status bar buttons to display icons like this or traditional text labels that will be familiar to you if you have used earlier releases of AutoCAD. If you want old type of text labels here on these buttons, right click and just uncheck this button. To switch from one style to other, right click on any of the drawing aids 8 buttons and select or deselect use icons, which I have just shown you. The first drawing aid tool in our status bar is Infer Constraints. You can also set up AutoCAD to add constraints as you draw. Suppose I am drawing multiple lines here. You can see nothing happening, but when I select Infer Constraints and draw the line again, you can see Infer Constraints appear at each end of the line. If you use Infer Constraints to draw a series of lines, at the very least it will apply the coincident constraint at the end of each line segment. So it applies geometric constraints at specific pick points. Now I am removing this. Next, second tool is snap mode. This tool forces the crosshairs to move on an imaginary grid of equally spaced hot dots. The third tool is grid. Notice the colors on the buttons. If the color is blue, that means that that particular button is turned on, and if they are gray like this, they are turned off. The draw grid is a rectangular pattern of dots displayed on the screen. Okay. So I will show you how snap and grid works. Now I am drawing a line. You can see the cursor, when I start drawing line, it is jumping to the immediate next point here. So it is snapping to a particular value. Okay. To change that setting, you have to right click on snap and go to settings tab. Here you can specify X spacing and Y spacing, and grid spacing also you can set X spacing and Y spacing. Okay. You can right click on drawing aids tool and click on settings, and you can change spacing in X and Y directions for both snap and grid. You can also toggle on or off using F7 key for snap mode, F7 key for grid mode, and for snap mode F9 key. Okay. The next drawing aid in our status bar is Ortho. Ortho mode is probably the most simplest but most important one too in AutoCAD drawing. It is either on or off. No special settings will make. I mean to say there are no special settings for this ortho on or off mode. Okay, it is either on or off, but no other special settings to make here. It constrains drawing lines to horizontal or vertical only. Ortho can also be toggled on or off using function key F8 key from our keyboard. With ortho mode turned on, you can only draw horizontal and vertical lines. See here, you can only draw horizontal and vertical lines, but you can't draw inclined lines at an angle. If you want to draw inclined lines, the ortho mode should always be off. Suppose now you can draw inclined lines at any specified angle. The next drawing aid tool is polar. Polar tracking allows you to snap into whatever angles you choose to configure. See, suppose ortho is on and snap mode is on, object snap is on. Now I am right clicking on polar and I am selecting an angle of 45 degrees. Now see, I am starting a drawing here. Notice now I am slowly moving the cursor. Sorry, I have to off this. Now I am slowly moving the cursor. You can see at 45 angles it stopped. See, at 45 angles the tracking is catching the line at 45 degrees angle. So this is polar tracking. If you select 45 from the preset angle increments, polar tracking will snap at 45 degrees increment starting from 0 degrees. This is 0 in AutoCAD always. East is 0, north 90, next west 180, south 270, again east is 360. Polar can also be toggled on or off using function key F10. You can use F10 function key here. You can see here, just I am placing the cursor here. You can toggle polar by using F10 key from keyboard also. The next tool is OSnap. My next important tool is OSnap because object snap, it is an important drawing tool. It allows me to attach objects exactly to the snap mode. Suppose I want to draw a line. If it is on, it exactly captures the end point of the previous line so that I can draw many lines here. Now I am cancelling this command. Again I am starting command line. Now you can see as I move closer, it catches the exact end point of the previous line. The next, you can also toggle this OSnap with F3 key on keyboard. The next drawing aid tool is 3D OSnap. This tool controls running object snap for 3D objects. Now we are not going into 3D drawing at present. The 3D object snap can also be toggled on or off by using F4 key on keyboard. The next drawing aid tool is O-Track. Use object snap tracking along with alignment paths. You have to use these alignment paths that are based on object snap points. Suppose I want to draw a line, imaginary line from this end point with this, or I will give you an easy example. Suppose there is a rectangle here. Okay. Now I want to draw a circle at the midpoint of this rectangle using object track. Okay. I am turning this on. Now start line command. And also you have to use OSnap settings, midpoint. Now you can see this is the midpoint of the line here. I am selecting here. Now while I am moving downwards, you can see a dotted line, that is the tracking line, and I want to draw the center point. From center point I want to draw the line. Now I am taking the midpoint of this line and not clicking it but just moving the cursor. Now you can see at exact midpoint center of the rectangle I am getting a point. This is called as O track. O track can also be toggled on or off using F11 key. Now the next drawing aid tool is DUCS, that is dynamic UCS. It is also toggled on or off using F6 function key. The default coordinate system is WCS, that is world coordinate system. This is the default coordinate system the AutoCAD uses in new drawings. The UCS has been an important tool for 3D modeling in AutoCAD, as you all know, because there three axes exist: X axis, Y axis and Z axis for each and every drawing in 3D mode. So for rotating objects in 3D we use dynamic UCS, which is DUCS shown here. So in 2D, two-dimensional drawings, it is not necessary for us. The next tool is dynamic input tool. When dynamic input tool is turned on and when a line is drawn, you can see it is showing polar angle. It is showing angle and distance of this particular line below the cursor. You can see the tooltip here. So that is the dynamic input, and when we enter input, suppose when I am entering an input of 5, when dynamic input is on, you can see it is directly, it is that whatever I have typed is shown here. But when the dynamic input, when the dynamic input is off, I want to draw a line segment of 4 units from the previous point. When I type 4, instead of showing here at cursor tool, at the end of cursor tool, you have to look at the bottom of the command prompt here for the input I have entered. So that is the importance of this tool. Next is line weight tool. This is LWT, means show and hide line weights. This drawing aid tool is also used, this LWT is also used to show or hide line weights in our drawing. It depends whether I am using line weight properties for different objects in my drawing or not. By turning this off, all the objects are shown in same line weights. If I turn line weight on, the different objects with different line weights assigned will be shown thicker or darker. I will discuss these things in my future videos, how to assign line weights for different items. The next important quick properties tool. When there is no command active and when I select any object, okay, a quick properties box will be shown here. It shows some basic important properties of that particular selected object. For cancelling this, you can see here it is showing color, on which layer this particular object is existing, line type, global width of the line, etc, etc. For closing this, just hit escape key, or you can close the box by clicking on this close box. Okay, so for this tutorial, that's all guys. Let us meet in our next tutorial. In our next tutorial, we are going to discuss about quick view tools on status bar. These are the quick view tools on status bar. Till then, have a nice time. Thank you.